welcome back to Crafting with Cami. Today's layout is a collaboration with the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team where we are talking about online exclusives. In November, Stampin' Up! Released some new online exclusives to their website, so be sure to check that out. My link's below. But the one I'm focusing on is their Happy Hibiscus. I got the Happy Hibiscus stamp and thin cut, or die cut, collection here, so they call them dies, Happy Hibiscus, and this comes with a hybrid embossing folder as well. So the stamps are that photopolymer, so they're the clear, and I just keep the plastic over them, but I stick them to the back of the case. So those are super fun, and then they also come with die cuts. They have this nice circle too, and some fall leaves like maple, and so cool. And then this one is part of the hybrid folder. So if you're not familiar with their hybrid folders, it's an embossing folder. So pretty. And then the die cut sits right into it, like so. You put your paper in. Here's one I already did. Put my paper in like so, closed it up, ran it through my machine, and then when you pull it out, it embosses it and cuts it out. So here is what it looks like embossed. Isn't that so cool? And then those pieces that are cut out look like this. And they emboss, and then I took my sanding paper and just went over it and revealed the white core. Isn't that so cool? So usually I would think of these flowers as summer, spring, travel, tropical, like warmer weather, but I am actually going to be documenting an event that happened in the fall. This is part one of my friend's wedding. So I had the opportunity to be in their wedding. I was the bridesmaid. This is my husband. He wasn't in the wedding, but he was obviously there. We're really close to them. And so I'm just documenting 2 photos from the night. Both of these were taken at the reception. But I am going to have more photos of decorations, setting up. We had a little, we did all the rehearsal stuff, and then we had kind of a bridal party after the rehearsal. So I have photos from that. I have some that the professionals took. So I have a ton of photos of myself with obviously the bride and groom and whatnot. So I will have a lot more photos, but I'm just going to focus on documenting these 2 today. This is my journaling. I wrote a novel, and it's not my story to share. I feel like it's not my story to share with the internet. It wasn't my wedding, but I will tell you some funny events that went on that were my story. So this is my journaling, and I want that to be kind of the focal here, and then have my 2 photos from that reception like this. And then I am picturing all of these flowers going along the bottom. This is Desert Rose from Close to My Heart. If you're using Stampin' Up! Colors, Moody Mauve is the closest to Desert Rose. I also did some in Calypso Coral. I think I got these backwards. This one's Calypso Coral, or Papaya, and then this one is the Desert Rose or Moody Mauve. So I used those 2 colors, and then I'm also going to be bringing in some espresso. Her colors were very fall, and I have some photos of her decorations as well, which will be on a separate layout. So I want to bring in some of those colors into this one since they'll be side by side. So the stamps that I'm using, I did the embossing folder for these larger flowers, and then inside here I have my dies, and I did this die and this die for the espresso. Here's the espresso ones. Okay. And then I did some gold foil. If you caught some of my other videos, you know I wanted to use this gold foil for this layout, and that came from the Changing Leaves. This one right here. So I did a few of those. I even brought in some of the golden greenery, And these dies are meant to cut out some of the pattern paper. So let me grab that pattern paper here and show you. So this is Season of Green and Gold, and it looks like a rat got to it and ate it. But I used the thin cut. Actually, this one doesn't have a thin cut. I die cut that, or I fussy cut that out. And then this one is actually made to cut out that one. And then there's a skinnier die that's made to cut out this one. But I kind of wanted this bell. I thought it looked like wedding bells, but it has a green bow. So then I'm like, well, these look like hearts. Let's add some of those in. So I fussy cut this one out. That one doesn't have a coordinating die, but this one does. So I used the coordinating die there and cut that one out. And that is what this looks like. So I have some of that gold foil coming in from these gold leaves and then also from this collection. So I am going to want to bring in a little bit of green, even though she didn't have much green in her decor or anything. But I liked that the gold foil went with it. So that is my idea there. I will be building this layout on some espresso cardstock. If you're using Stampin' Up, Pebbled Path would be the closest to this color. I cut some white cardstock down to 11.5 squared, so I'll have a frame style. Here's the journaling. That'll go right down here. And then I wanted to bring in a little more of that espresso, so I'm going to mat these two photos on espresso. So I just cut out a couple mats there. So about this couple, I have known the groom since before high school. The night of the rehearsal, we were trying to figure out how long we've known each other. It's been forever. So once he started dating Shelby, we were going on double dates, and she soon became, you know, part of the group, part of the friend group. So that was... they're perfect together, and I'm glad that I could get along with her and that we're so close now, because we've been friends for so long. That would have been weird. Just picturing these flowers kind of going under my journaling a little bit, over my journaling, and just kind of separating the colors and having those go across. So a little about that evening. We started off by, you know, the ceremony, all the wedding stuff, and then when we got back to the rehearsal, we were making our grand entrance. You know how all the bridesmaids, groomsmen go down first, or, you know, are introduced first, and then the bride and groom get introduced to everybody. Well, the groomsman that I was kind of paired up with, and he really wanted to do something spectacular, you know, and they have this grand staircase that comes from upstairs where all the girls got ready, and like the balcony area, and comes down to the dining area. Okay, well, I'm very clumsy, and I'm like, you know, stairs and I do not get along. I fall downstairs way too often. So I don't know that it's a good idea to try to, you know, outdo everybody. I'm just trying to make my way down the stairs without dying. And he's like, no, we got to do something we got to outdo everybody. What should we do? And I'm like, well, I need to make it down the stairs. That's what I'm focused on, is making it down the stairs, not trying to do anything spectacular. Well, we come up with the idea that I'm going to have my bouquet, and I'm going to run down the stairs, running, stairs, clumsy, dress, don't mix. Okay, so I'm going to run down the stairs. I'm going to hike this bouquet to him. You guys, I don't sport. I don't football. I don't know what hiking even is, okay? That is not what I do. Okay, so I'm going to hike this bouquet through my legs to him. He's going to catch it. I'm going to take off running into the crowd. He's going to throw it back to me, and that'll be our entrance. I'm like, this is a bad idea. They're saying our name at this point. They're introducing us, and we're still up in the balcony like, this is a bad idea. And he's like, nope, this is what we should do. I'm like, okay, this is not going to go well, but okay, well, that's what we'll do. Okay, so I take off running down those stairs. I took my shoes off, guys. I was barefoot. I'm like, there is no way I'm going to fall down these stairs. That would be even more embarrassing than what happened. Okay, so I take off running down these stairs. I hike that bouquet through my legs. I toss it to him. I take off running into the crowd. Guys, the bouquet hit him where no man wants to be hit. He hunches over. I'm running through the crowd. And it turned out to be the funniest story. Since we've known each other for so long, my grandparents were there. My mom was there. My husband, obviously, and they got it on camera. They got the whole thing on camera, and it is the funniest thing. So I take that video over to the groomsmen, and this is why I said that was a bad idea. And that happened to be the funniest highlight of the night for us. But probably not for him, but for all the bystanders, it was the funniest. After all that, I had to give my speech. I didn't have to. The bride and groom said, you know, you don't have to give a speech. We don't expect you to. But at first, I was like, oh, thank God, I do not want to give a speech. But then I got to thinking, no, I've known him for so long. I need to give a speech. He deserves a speech at his wedding. The closer it was getting, the more nervous I was getting. And I do not like being center of attention. I do not enjoy giving speeches at all, talking in front of people. So I run up to the DJ and ask for a pen. And right there on my napkin, I write down my speech. I still have that, so it might end up behind the layout. As I was adding in those green sprigs, I decided I didn't want them in these clusters. And so I saved those for another project. I did lose some footage, so here's some still shots of how that cluster turned out. I am loving this hibiscus set, so I will have that link down below if you're interested. I hope this layout inspired you to tell your story, and don't be afraid to add larger journaling to your layout. I will have the playlist for the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team linked down below. Be sure to head over there to see how they used online exclusives. Until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye.